In the heart of our small town, nestled among rolling hills, stands an old stone church, St. Jude's. It's a place of quiet history, where every stained glass window tells a story. But the most profound story isn't in the glass or the stone. It's in a single, flickering candle. Every year, on the eve of All Souls' Day, Father Michael performs a simple yet deeply moving ritual. After lighting candles for all the departed souls requested by his parishioners, he takes one last, plain white candle. He walks to a quiet alcove, far from the others, and lights it. He doesn't say a name. He simply whispers, "This is for all who have no one to remember them." A candle for the unknown soul. It was a tradition started by the priest before him, a way to ensure no one was ever truly forgotten. A beautiful, solitary gesture of compassion. But something strange, something wonderful, began to happen. Every year, without fail, moments after Father Michael would turn to leave, that single flame would dance. It would dip and sway, not from a draft or a breeze, but as if someone, somewhere, had just gently blown a kiss of gratitude. The first time it happened, Father Michael dismissed it. The old church was drafty after all. The second year he paused, a curious warmth spreading through his chest. By the third year, it was a quiet miracle he looked forward to. The flicker was gentle, rhythmic, almost like a soft, contented sigh. It was a silent conversation, a thank you from across the veil. Word of the grateful flame, as the townspeople began to call it, spread slowly. It wasn't a spectacle, but a whispered secret, a shared piece of local magic. People would come to the evening service not just to remember their own, but to witness this quiet miracle. They'd stand in respectful silence, watching Father Michael light the candle, and then a collective, gentle gasp would fill the church as the flame began its soft, grateful dance. One year, a young journalist from the city, hearing of the legend, came to debunk it. She brought with her scientific instruments to measure air currents, temperature fluctuations, anything that could provide a rational explanation. She set up her equipment discreetly in the back, her notebook ready, a skeptical glint in her eye. Father Michael performed the ritual as he always did. He lit the candle for the unknown, his voice a soft murmur in the hushed church. He turned away. The journalist, whose name was Clara, watched her instruments. Nothing, no drafts, no change in temperature, all was still. And then it happened. The flame dipped low, once, twice, 3 times, before rising to burn steadily again. It was a clear, deliberate flicker. Clara looked from her perfectly still monitors to the dancing flame, and a shiver ran down her spine. It wasn't a shiver of cold, but of wonder. She saw the faces of the townspeople around her, their expressions not of shock, but of soft, knowing comfort. They weren't looking for proof. They were simply bearing witness. After the service, she approached Father Michael. She didn't ask about drafts or air pressure. Instead, she asked, "Who do you think it is?" The old priest smiled, his eyes twinkling. "Does it matter?" he replied gently. "Perhaps it's a soldier who fell far from home. Perhaps it's an old woman who outlived all her friends. Or maybe," he leaned in slightly, "it's not just one soul. Maybe it's all of them, all the forgotten ones, taking a turn to say thank you." That answer changed something in Clara. Her story, when it was published, wasn't an exposé. It was a poem. It spoke not of science or skepticism, but of the profound human need to remember and be remembered. She wrote about how a community's simple act of compassion could create a space for a miracle, however small. Years passed. Father Michael grew older, his hands a little less steady, but his faith in the ritual never wavered. The town grew, but it never lost its heart. The tradition of the grateful flame became a cornerstone of its identity. It taught the children that every life has value, even those whose stories we don't know. It reminded the adults that the greatest act of love can be a simple gesture of remembrance for a stranger. The candle for the unknown soul wasn't just about the dead. It was about the living. It was a reminder to look out for the lonely, to reach out to those who might feel forgotten in our own communities. The flickering flame was a beacon, not just for a soul in the great beyond, but for the kindness within us all. And so, if you ever find yourself in our little town on All Souls' Eve, come to St. Jude's, join the quiet crowd, and watch. Watch as a single candle is lit for those with no one left to remember them. And as the flame flickers, as it dips and dances in a silent show of thanks, you'll feel it too. The undeniable warmth of a connection that defies explanation. A gentle reminder that no one is ever truly alone, and no act of love is ever, ever wasted. Thank you so much for watching and sharing this story with me. If it touched your heart, please consider liking the video and subscribing to the channel for more stories that warm the soul. Until next time, take care and remember to be the light for someone else.